Are we live? Type 1 if you can hear me. Type 1 if you can see and hear me. Am I coming through loud and clear? I'm not out tonight, I'm afraid. I'm just here all alone. Let's just. So here we've got Jay, we've got Wayne, we've got Peter. People are typing 1. Thanks 1, 2, 3, 4. Thanks to James. Thanks to Andy Geno. So we've got a few people watching. Now the big question is, has anybody seen the comet? Because I certainly haven't. Come on, someone must have seen that comet out there. Someone must have seen it. I have not seen that comet at all. You know, I did the live stream last week was all about the comet, and I have not seen any sign of any comet. Hi to Rick, hi to Julia McGarty. Audio copies here. We've got Paul Dronsfield, is it? I'm struggling to read these. Josh Bell, hi. How many people have we got? Sarah's here, hi to Sarah. Rick says he's tried to see the comet. Yeah, it's been a difficult one. You know, I've seen quite a lot of comets since I started doing astronomy. It was around about 2010 that I started doing it properly. And since then, I've seen quite a few. Is that Randy Dodge? Volume too low? Good call, good call. I'm going to put a picture on. Let's just put this picture on. There you are. I'm just going to show you a picture of the comet. Just hang on a second. You know, if there's one thing that I always forget, it's the volume. The microphone, should I say. I don't know, I've just got a thing about forgetting about to put the microphone on. I'm not using the correct microphone at the moment, so we'll sort this out, and let's see if this improves things, shall we? Let me know. Okay, I'm now using a proper microphone, so thanks to Randy Dodge for telling me about that and reminding me that I didn't have my microphone on. So let me know, type 2 if it sounds a whole lot better now. Maybe it sounds a whole lot worse, I don't know. Yeah, that comet there is one that I captured earlier this year. In fact, that comet that you're looking at now was Comet ZTF, and I photographed that back in, I think it was January this year. Does anyone remember? I did a video, and one of the videos got around about 70,000 views, yeah, on that comet there. It was a pretty, so I've got a few people typing too. We've got Sarah, James, Audio Coffee, Alan, hi Sheila, Peter. Everybody's typing 2, yeah. I completely forgot to put my microphone in, so I'm sorry about the sound at the start. Let's put it into perspective, says Rick. Got some good shots of Comet Lovejoy. That was supposedly less visible than Nishimura. So this comet we've got at the moment is supposed to be more visible than Comet Lovejoy, which and Comet Lovejoy was a comet that was found. I'm going back a few years now. I think Lovejoy, is an Australian guy, and now he's not a professional astronomer. I don't think he is, and he discovered Lovejoy, and I captured that comet. In fact, I've got a picture of it. I'll show you. But this comet up here, this Nishimura comet, is supposed to be more visible than that comet, and I photographed Comet Lovejoy quite easily. So let's see, who else have we got? We've got Tin Whistle, hi. So has anybody seen it at all? Has anybody heard anything about the comet? Because I have just not had chance. In fact, if you ask me where it is at the moment, I don't think I'd know. I think it's going around the sun at the moment. It's actually on its closest approach at the sun tomorrow, I think, the 18th. I think it gets to its closest approach. Hi to Brummy in the Highlands. Hi to Hazel. So I think tomorrow, folks, I think it's going around the sun. Now, the only thing about it going around the sun is that we're not going to be able to see it. Of course, we'll not have any chance of seeing it when it's going around the sun. The trick is when it comes back round the other side, we might have a chance to start seeing it again. But the only thing is, the weather where I am is absolutely shocking this week. It's looking awful, the weather this week. It's not looking good at all. Hi to Cat's Rule. Who else have we got? Hi to Chris. Yeah, we've got quite a few people in here who are pretty hardcore at getting out and taking photographs, and no one has managed to see it. My only thought is because of its proximity to the sun, a small window. Yeah, that's right. Because the comet is actually fairly close to the sun from where we're looking at it from. And it's fairly close in the sun to the sky. It's kind of following the sun sort of thing at the moment, or it's going towards the sun. So you never know, when it comes back round the other side, we might have a chance of seeing it. So we live. I just got an email there actually. Oh, someone just said that was that sound, an email coming through. Hi to Elizabeth. Hi to Jammy Jolly. So yeah, it's not for the want of trying. I mean, I could have a little look on Stellarium, and I don't think my Stellarium is updated, so I don't think it will give me the position of the comet. So yeah, you never know, folks. Like I say, I think tomorrow, the 18th, the Comet Nishimura is going around the sun, and you never know, it might come out the other side, or it might not, because there have been comets in the past that have gone around the sun. In fact, I'll show you a picture now. If I put a picture on now, if I could turn this off, do you see that? If I was to go into another picture, if I was to say, now I have a picture on here of a comet. I'm not sure if it was that one. I think it was. We'll get it in a minute. You see that comet there? That comet there was Comet Isom. And this was back in 2013, something like that. Can't quite remember when it was, but that was a sun grazer comet. Hi to Dave Muirhead. Your lips and speaking is not synchronized with the video. There's a delay. If your Stellarium does not show it, you can import the data from one of the top drop downs. Hi to Leon Corns. Rise and Rambling. Hi. Everyone's saying I'm out of sync. I don't know what to do about it, I'm afraid. I could try unplugging the microphone, couldn't I? Well, it doesn't matter now because I'm showing you a picture, does it? So yeah, that comet that you're looking at there on the screen was Comet Isom. It wasn't quite a naked eye comet. I don't think it was, but it might have just about been. It was bright enough certainly to photograph. I think you could see it with binoculars. Yeah. And I photographed it a few times, and it went around the sun, but it didn't unfortunately come back round the other side. It kind of disintegrated, I'm afraid. So there you go. I mean, when was that? I just want to try and find out when that was. I can't quite. So I'll try and find out when that was. I think it was Comet Isom. When was Comet Isom? And it's just one of the many comets that I've seen in the last 10 years since I got into astronomy. And if you don't go out there and look for stuff, if you don't try to look for things, you're not going to see them. So it does take a little bit of effort sometimes to see stuff like this. So I'm just looking up Comet Isom now, and that was taken in. Oh, I had to get up at 4:30 in the morning to take that shot, by the way. 19th of November 2013 was when I took that picture there then. Whoa, I had to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning to take that picture there. See, that's dedication for you, isn't it? Let's put it back on the screen again. Look at that. I had to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning. Audio Cafe says it's peeing it down. I don't know what causes that delay. Don't worry about it. You need to see the Starlink. Yeah, I've seen the Starlinks, yeah. We'll live with the sync anomaly. Well, I could try pulling out the lead and trying that. Yeah, yeah. So I'll tell you what I'll do. Let's put it back on thingy again. Let me try pulling this lead out here now. This might hurt a little bit. Put it back in again now. Does that work? Does that work? I don't know. Does that work? I've got a magazine here. I've got the Sky at Night magazine here for September, and there's nothing about the comet in here. You know why? Because they start to write this magazine around about 2 months in advance, before they even knew about the comet. Here's me thinking I'd be able to find out about the comet in here, and there's nothing about the comet in here. Nothing about it at all. Can you believe that? I get this sent to me every month, and there's nothing. They're talking about Venus coming back. Venus is starting to become quite prominent after in the morning, should I say. So Venus is a morning star at the moment. So there's quite. They tell you all what's going on throughout the month and that sort of thing. I'll just show you. Tell you all about the phases of the moon, but there's nothing about a comet in here. I can't believe it. That is really, really disappointing. So I thought there might be a chart in there, but there isn't. But anyway, never mind. So yeah, so what are people saying? I'll just put that picture on again. Hazel said we've had heavy rain. Looking at the backs of my eyeballs at 4 a.m, says Cat's Rule. I'm wondering the same thing. So it's 1.5 second delay. We've still got a delay. John Leach, hi Stephen and everyone from a very wet Sheffield. Remember folks, we had a good few days of nice weather. Now we've got to pay for it big time. Yeah, we do. So that was Comet Isom, one of the many comets that I've seen over the last 13 years I'd say. This comet that we're looking at now was Comet Lovejoy. Yeah, and look at that picture folks. The disabled photographer. I could get up at 2 o'clock and it would still be cloudy. Comet Lovejoy. Now, when did I take this picture? Well, let's find out, shall we? That's a pretty nice looking comet, isn't it? What do you think to that one? Comet Lovejoy, folks. Now, that was taken in 2015. On the 18th of January I took that picture there. Got a nice tail on it as well. I think I took that using a normal camera lens. I didn't use anything special. I didn't use a telescope. Hi to Frank in Blackpool. Frank in Blackpool's here. And I have to thank Frank in Blackpool for today's questions because I didn't have any questions, and he's sent us some questions that I will ask later on. So yeah, so that comet that you're looking at now was Comet Lovejoy. It was discovered by a guy called Terry. I think he's called Terry Lovejoy in Australia, and he's an amateur. I say amateur because these people, I'm sure they're making loads of money out of it. But amateur in the way that he doesn't work for a space organizer. He doesn't work for NASA or anything like that. Amateur astronomers do quite a lot, you know. You know, Patrick Moore was an amateur astronomer. People probably think that he was a professional because he was on TV, but no, he was an amateur. No, he didn't work for an organisation doing astronomy or anything like that. So, it's a chemical content of the comet. I can see about 2230. What's that? Can be seen in the east around 2230 in the east. It's probably Jupiter, Paul. Jupiter. That'll be Jupiter rising in the east. Yeah. But at the moment, we're just looking at Comet Lovejoy, which I took a photograph of in 2015. A nice photo, that, isn't it? So there you go. I've seen loads and loads. It's a pity. You know, it's a real pity that I never got to see. It's a pity that I never got to see Halley's Comet, because when was Halley's Comet? Around about 1986 or something like that. And then we also had the Hale-Bopp Comet, which was a really cracking, nice comet. I've had loads of people telling me about Comet Hale-Bopp, and I never got to see that. But I think the reason why I never got to see them is probably because either I was too I wasn't really that interested in space at that time. I don't think I was. I think I was, but maybe I just didn't go. I didn't go to the places where I should have gone. I maybe, I think you only have a limited time to see stuff like these comets. They only have like a few weeks windows where you can see them, and I don't think I was really that much into seeing them, and I probably wouldn't have done the right thing. I'd have probably gone on to, probably gone into. I wouldn't have bothered going out of Blackpool to try and spot it, and maybe that wouldn't have been a good thing because you do need to go somewhere dark if you want to see faint stuff like comets, and you want to see stuff like the Northern Lights, and if you want to see the Milky Way, you need to get out of town. It's no good trying to look out your back garden unless you live in the middle of nowhere. You might be lucky to live in the middle of nowhere. So you might be able to see something like that comet there. I saw Halley, but it was very dim, says Randy Dodge. My dad was pretty religious about the night sky, if my mum let him use a video recorder. When was Comet Kahutep last visible? I don't know that one, Dave. I don't know, but we're looking at Comet Lovejoy. It was one of the many comets that I've spotted over the last, with the help of TV shows and with the help of magazines and things like that. This is how you find out about these things. They don't always talk about stuff like this on the news because sometimes these things aren't really big enough to make the news. So, but Comet Lovejoy was. It was one. I think it was. I think it made some. It made some websites. I wouldn't say it was on the news, on the TV news or anything like that, but yeah. So that was Comet Lovejoy. Oh, this comet you're looking at here, this was probably the best comet that I've ever seen, and that was the first sighting of it, really, that one there, when I got to see it over my local park. I actually got up at 4 o'clock in the morning. In fact, I got up earlier than 4 o'clock in the morning to see this. I got up at about 2:30. Somebody gave me a text from the Astro Club and he said, "Oh, you want to get out? The comet's visible." This is Comet Neowise of 2020. Yeah, Comet Neowise. Yeah. So that was in 2020, folks. Yeah, the best comet that I have ever seen, and this was my first sighting. Hi to Michael. Michael's here. Can anybody tell me how many people we've got in? Seem to have about 60 people in, is that right? Yeah, Neowise wasn't it, Rick? It was awesome, Neowise. Cat's Rule says they're fortunate enough to see it from the backyard. Look at that. Jay said they saw it in New Mexico. Neowise, Comet Neowise. Unfortunately, I don't have my other pictures of it with Blackpool Tower. I don't know why, but I do have pictures of this comet with Blackpool Tower. Let's see if I can find those. I don't know why they're not on there. I mean, I've taken so many photographs in the last 10 years and more of that. There's that many pictures I've taken of so many different things that I get lost. Honestly, I do. I forget about stuff. I think, oh, I never, I cannot remember taking that photograph, that particular photograph. Now, I do have, I'm just going to put you back on the screen, I do have a picture of the comet with the Blackpool Tower, but unfortunately, for some reason, I didn't have it, so I'll show it you there. So that was Comet Neowise over Blackpool Tower. Sorry about the way that I have to show you. So look at that, folks. Isn't that amazing? I did do a video about it when I was chasing the comet all the way around my C-Star S50. Should be here in a couple of weeks. Michael says it's 84 watching. Hit the like button if you like the video. Oh, phone's gone off. So and that video did do pretty well because it made the headlines. Look at that, folks. Is it gonna get into focus? Can you see that? I think I'm holding it too close. Look at that, folks. That's how it looked in the paper. Look at that, folks. Amazing. Yeah? Look at that. I made the headlines. I did make the headlines there. I did. So, there you go. How about that? So that was Comet Neowise. And don't forget that I did a video. You can have a look at it. It's actually quite a fun video, really, where I was chasing the comet all around Blackpool. And it was really, really good. I'll just put that picture back on again for you. So that was like the first sighting that I had of it. What are people saying? Correct you on watching. Don't forget to hit the like button. Neowise was excellent, says John Leach. Thanks, Sheila. Thanks, Audio Coffee. Thanks to Dave Muirhead. Thanks to Cat's Rule. Thanks to everyone for the picture. Yeah, I did want to get it with the tower. That was the thing, you see, because I always have to try to get something with the tower. It's like when I take the pictures of the moon. You know, I always want to get that moon somewhere near the tower or behind it. Do you have to spend lots on a telescope, says Josh, to see the stars and planets in detail? No, not really. I say about £150 for a telescope, maybe £200. Should be able to get you something pretty decent. You don't need to spend loads and loads of money. Jay said he missed the headline. I'll put it back on for you. So let's. I'll get you another one. Here's another one. So there. Oops, I've got to put myself on the screen first. So there's my picture of the comet, and that's how it looked in the paper. Can you see that? That's a slightly different one to the one I was showing you before. But there you go. That's how Comet Neowise looked. Doesn't it look amazing? Look at that. A comet over the tower. Wowzers. That was amazing, wasn't it, folks? What do you think to that? Yeah? This is for Jay. There's the other one. Strictly Comet Dancing. And that's like a take on the Strictly Come Dancing, which takes place underneath the Blackpool Tower. They take like a dancing competition. So what they did was used a clever headline that used the comet as in Strictly Come Dancing. So there you go, folks. That was Comet Neowise. That was the best comet that I've ever seen. You could easily see it with your naked eye, and that's the thing about it. And so it's definitely the best comet that I've seen over the past years. But as you can see, I've seen loads of comets over the past 10 years or so. So that just happened to be the best one. Thanks to everyone for the comments on the Neowise. Michael says that Halebop was a better car. I never saw Halebop. I mentioned before, didn't I? I never saw Halebop, I'm afraid. Rick says, no point in me getting loose with a telescope as I'd struggle to see the clouds with the light pollution. Yeah, well, that's the thing, you see. But no, you do not need a big telescope if you want to get into astronomy. You don't need a massive telescope. There are some people at my club that have huge telescopes that weigh an absolute ton, and they're that big that you wouldn't even be able to lift them on your own. They're that big, these telescopes. But really, you don't need a big telescope. You need like a 4-inch telescope, a reflector, or something like that if you want to get into astronomy and that sort of thing. So it's not like you don't need to spend fortunes. The only thing you need to do is make sure you don't buy one of those cheap telescopes from the supermarket, because those are usually pretty rubbish. So we got 80 people watching. That's pretty good. So I'm going to put another picture on. Let's have a look. Let's go on to another one. So that was Neowise, and there's Neowise again. Look at that, folks. What do you think to that? Comet Neowise, and that was taken at. Can anyone tell me where that is? It's in. somewhere in England. Can anyone tell me where it is? Does anyone know where this is? Spent £15 in cashes on a telescope, nothing but cloud sensors. I think the chat seems to have frozen. I don't know, something's gone wrong with the chat here. It seems to have kind of frozen up a little bit. Frank in Blackpool says York. Wayne says, does anyone know where this is? DSM Movies. Yes, I think DSM Movies has got it. You don't get enough clear nights to spend lots of money on a telescope. No, well, it depends how much you're into it, really. Can you do astrophotography with a telephoto lens? Yes, you can. You certainly can. In fact, I pretty much do all mine. Dr. Houseland, Solomon Temple in Buxton. This is in Buxton, in Derbyshire. Yeah, Buxton, the spa town of Buxton. Yeah, where you get your spring water from. And that there is Solomon's Temple. Yeah, and we managed to get a picture of Comet Neowise over the, you know, the sky only cleared for around about 15 minutes. That's all we had to get a picture of this comet over Solomon's Temple. So there you go, yeah, that's a nice picture, isn't it? You know, I did light it up a bit with the torch. I used a torch to light it up a bit. Stephen going back to Salisbury anytime? Well, we'll see. I do like York. Frank says he's getting an echo now. Is everybody getting an echo? I hope not. I think I might need to get a soundproof room. What do you think? So anyway, that's Comet Neowise. Oh, I think we're back on this one again. This is the one that I photographed earlier on this year. This was Comet ZTF. It was not a naked eye comet. I was talking about this earlier. It was, Frankie Blackpool says the echo's gone. Well, that's good. We don't want an echo, do we? So yeah, so comets, there you go. They're a bit of a funny breed, comets. You know, they come from the outer solar system where it's a bit cold and icy, and they have these long, big kind of trajectories where they sweep into the solar system and sweep back out again, and you don't see them again for, I don't know, tens of years, hundreds of years, thousands of years. And yeah, so there you go. Like the Halley's Comet was the first comet to be predicted every 72. I think it's every 72 years, and that was the first one. I think that they predicted. They predicted when it would come back, and harbingers of doom as well. Some say, but the only thing is that most people can't even see a comet. But then again, if you think back, I suppose if you think back. If you think back to the Middle Ages and stuff like that, you know, it was much darker then because we didn't have all these big cities and all this light pollution and all this stuff now. So back in the olden days, they had a lot. They could see the sky a lot easier back then, when it wasn't cloudy, of course. So I think that makes a massive difference. If you go back to the times before the big cities and things like that, if you were out in the country in England and you had a clear sky, you would be able to see thousands and thousands of stars, and you would use the stars actually to help you. They actually used the stars to tell the time of year. They helped them to know when to start planting things and stuff like that. So that's it, yeah. So the stars were quite important. The only thing is now, you'll notice now that with all these big cities and the light pollution and the towns and everything, people are kind of forgetting about the stars and forgetting they're up there. The only thing that you tend to see when you're out and about is maybe you might see the odd bright star, you'll see the moon, you might see the planet Jupiter or something like that. And that's pretty much all you see at the moment. We don't tend to see the stars unless you go on holiday. if you were to go on holiday to, say, the Lake District or somewhere like that, and you were to stay in a caravan, you would probably come out at night, and if it's clear at night, you'll look up and you'll think, whoa, look all them stars up there, you know. It's amazing. Yeah, and that's the thing, you see, it's a bit of a shame that we can't all see the stars that we used to see due to all the light pollution. So we're moving forward, technology, all that, but at the same time we're kind of losing contact with the night sky. So we'd see something like the moon, like the crescent moon, then you might be able to see the earth shine on the moon, like we can see here on this picture. I've got a crescent moon there with earth shine. So that moon there is a waxing crescent, and it's going down, and you can see that it's got the earth shine on it. Hi to Specs. Specs says they're in a Bortle 4. Well, I think Blackpool's something like a Bortle 5, 6, maybe worse. I would probably say 6. Bortle is the scale of your light pollution. The lesser number, the better. So if you live in a Bortle 1, you're probably in like the best place for stargazing, astronomy. If you live in a Bortle 1. So yeah, so this picture that we're looking at here, again, this is a picture of, I think that comet there is Comet, can't remember the name of it now. Pan-STARRS. Pan-STARRS. Yeah, Brummie in the Highlands. We have some amazing clear skies out here in the Highlands. Very little light pollution. There you go. It's a shame we can't really see the Milky Way except on this search later now. I went to the Griffith Observatory, Jay, and you can't see anything from up there. I was stood right outside the Griffith Observatory, and then we went to the Mount Wilson, where Hubble discovered the expanding universe, and you couldn't even see anything up there either. And we were so high up Mount Wilson, at the top of Mount Wilson, and yet there's so much light pollution coming from all around the place. You can't even see anything there. So California, or that part of California, is terrible. I mean, I suppose if you're in northern California, rural California, you probably see stuff. The best place that I have seen, the best place on earth where I have seen the darkest skies, the darkest and clearest skies with the best Milky Way, is in Wyoming. And in particular, I would say Yellowstone National Park. Yeah, Yellowstone National Park. And I've been all over the place. I've been all over the world. I've been to South Africa, the darkest part of South Africa, and Yellowstone National Park was, for me, it was the best, easily the best place that I've ever been for stargazing. Yeah, so so anyway, this picture here that shows, just coming back to this comet, it might look a little bit like, if we were to see this Comet Nishimura, it might look something like what we're seeing here. Can you see how the comet is kind of in the, it's in the actual, it's in the actual glare of the sun. It's in the sunset right here, folks, yeah? And that's kind of what we were expecting Comet Nishimura to see it in the sunset, because it's quite close to the sun. And if it does manage to come out the other side, it'll probably look something like this as well. So it could be tricky to see. What are people saying? But it's actually quite a nice picture, that. I like that picture because there's a lot going on there. And there's a close-up of it there. Comet Pan-STARRS. I think that was around about 2002. It was a long time ago. Comet Pan-STARRS. Does anyone remember Comet Pan-STARRS? A national park in the US, yeah, Yellowstone. They do really work hard on the night skies. Yeah, at Yellowstone National Park. So the picture we're looking at now, which was Comet C2011 L4 Pan-STARRS, and that picture there was captured on the 13th of March 2013. So there you go, 2013 March. That's taken 10.5 years ago. Yeah, that's what I was doing 10.5 years ago. I was taking pictures of comets, and now I can't even find a comet now to photo. If you flip the image, it look like, yeah, that's right. So Comet Nishimura, I think, is facing. Is it facing the other way? Is that right? It'll always have the tail away from the sun. Yeah. Hi to Bitcoin Wolf Club. We're looking at a picture that I took 10 years ago, and that's a picture of Comet C2011 L4 Pan-STARRS. It's named after the telescope that they used to find it. So Pan-STARRS is a telescope, and Pan-STARRS was a nice comet. And if you look at this picture here, look at that picture, folks. Whoa, I got a picture of Comet Pan-STARRS alongside the Andromeda Galaxy in the same part of the sky as the Andromeda Galaxy, folks. Look at that. I was taking pictures like this 10 years ago. I wish I could still take pictures of this now. Rick says he was not the only one. You're not the only one annoyed not seeing Nishimura. Some great shots of the moon and Venus. Not a total loss. So what we're looking at here, folks, is a picture of Comet Pan-STARRS from 2013. It's in the lower right part of the screen, and you can see the tail on it, and you can tell it's quite low because we can see the tops of the trees. I could only just see it above the tops of the trees from where I was. I took this up in Pilling, which is about 10 miles north of Blackpool. I do, yes, Steve Aker. What's happening is the comet's in our solar system, and it's quite nice and bright, and you can see it with the naked eye. But the galaxy that you can see to the top left, you know the galaxy there, that's the Andromeda Galaxy, and that's not in our solar system. That's 2.5 million light years away. It's a separate galaxy. So we've got two objects here, and we've also got a sea of stars as well. Between all of them stars we're looking at are all within our galaxy. But the Andromeda Galaxy that you can see to the top left there, that is another galaxy far, far away. The comet is actually a fairly close thing. It's like an icy body that's come from the outer solar system. Try using star maps. Hang tights. Hi to hangs tights. Thanks, Sharon. So there you go. What an amazing picture. Imagine being able to get a picture of a comet and also a picture of a galaxy far, far away at the same time. Well, that's what I did right there, folks. It just so happened to be, the comet just so happened to be passing through through the constellation of Andromeda from where we could see it from. Oh. What do you think to that, folks? A galaxy far, far away sounds like the premise to a film, yeah. I don't know, Jay. I'm not too sure. Hold your hats, folks, because the Andromeda Galaxy is on a beeline to collide with the Milky Way, yeah. Yeah, so that galaxy there, you see that galaxy in the top left-hand corner? The Milky Way is going to collide with that galaxy in around about, how many billion years? How big are comets, like an asteroid? Yeah, they are. They're miles across. They tend to be miles across. 10, 20 miles, something like that. If it hit the Earth, it'd be a disaster. But yeah, they are quite big, but they're nothing like on the scale of a planet size or anything like that. And they're made out of ice and they're made out of rock, and it's the ice on them that sublimates it, gives off the tail. It's the ice that lights them up. It's when that ice starts to melt and it causes like a diffuse head. That is what distincts a comet from an asteroid. Asteroids tend to be just black rocks with no ice. But they're pretty much the same sort of thing, except comets have ice on them. and the ice sublimates when they get close to the sun. The sun warms them up, and then it gives off that glow that you get, the head, the coma. It's like and they tend to look green, like Comet Lovejoy here. Comets can often look green, like we see here with Comet Lovejoy. So yeah, so there you go, folks. That's a comet for you. Unfortunately, we haven't got Comet Nishimura, but we'll not give up yet, folks. Blown by the solar wind. Yeah, 4.5 billion years, says Rick. So there you go, folks. That's a comet for you. So like a dirty snowball. A bit like a dirty snowball. They come from the outer reaches of the solar system where it's very, very cold and there's lots of ice. And I don't know what sort of ice it is. Is it water ice or is it some other kind of ice? Thanks, Sharon. Plasma wines, more like. Plasma winds. Yeah. So yeah, so we'll still keep hoping for. We'll still keep hoping for. We're gonna keep hoping for Nishimura. I'm not giving up on it yet. So like I say, I was gonna do like a further video on it, but then I thought, it's just at the moment things are not looking that great. But you never know. You never know. It might just come round. Steve Aker 777 says Halebot was the best. Thanks, Sheila. Interesting information about comets. Didn't know they had ice on them. That's what makes a comet. It's the ice, you see. It's the ice that when they come into the solar system, the sun starts to heat them up, and when they start to heat them up, that's when all the ice starts to, and that's when you get that bright coma, and that's when it gives off the tail as well. So there you go. I mean, we do live in hope about Nishimura. We haven't given up on it yet. If there's any chance that I can see it, it's not looking good this week. No, like I said, I think its closest approach to the sun is tomorrow, the 18th of September. I think is down for the closest approach to the sun. I did see a chart somewhere. Someone put a chart up where they said the comet was going to be at a certain time. So I'll just see if I can find that. Just bear with me. Yes, it's changing position quite heavily. Unfortunately, there's nothing after the 18th, unfortunately. But pretty much this shows you where it was. Can you see that? It's down here. It goes all the way up to the 18th, but then after the 18th, you can't see anything after the 18th. So unfortunately, I'm not quite sure where the comet is going to be. Well, it'll be in the glare of the sun for a while. It'll be in the glare of the sun for, I don't know. It could be lost for quite a while. So we might need to wait and see if it comes out the other end. There's another comet around this time of year, supposedly more promising. So, sending man up a chimney. No doubt be raining. How can the sun melt ice when no atmosphere in space? It's just it's just when something comes close to the sun, it's just the reaction. It could be just the the infrared or something like that breaks it up. And the comet itself has an atmosphere. It does have sort of an atmosphere, and I think that's that causes them to start to produce a coma, what they call the coma, the bright part, and then give off a tail. Yeah, solar radiation. There you go. Audio Coffee's told you. There you go. Solar radiation. Holed up by two lads on beach, mistaken as meteor crater on the. I've been to that place in Arizona as well. There's a place in Arizona called Meteor Crater, and it's like a massive. Oh, you want to see? It's about a mile wide, and I think it was on a movie or something. Oh, massive crater, and yeah, there's that. Well, that was good, and there was nothing left of the meteor. Whatever hit it, just almost completely vaporized. All they found were a few bits. Yeah, there was hardly anything left of it. Yeah, so Frank in Blackpool, light, heat, ice, no light. Is everyone ready for a quiz? Because I think it's quiz time now. So, who else have we got? Hi to George, just in case I didn't say hi to you. Cat's Rule says they're in a Bortle 3. Cat's Rule is in a Bortle 3. Can anyone beat Bortle 3? I think where I live is a Bortle 6 or 7. You'd probably say somewhere like London would be like a Bortle 8, you know, Bortle 9. In the middle of a city, middle of New York, Bortle 9. Like the top, the lower the number, the better, the more chance you have of seeing the... Oh, the good Wayne, yeah. I've been tucking into those. There you go, yeah. I think we've got the quiz. And I've actually got Frank in Blackpool to thank for the quiz. It was a bit rushed, it was all a bit rushed last minute. I didn't have a quiz ready and I thought, right, I'll use this one that Frank sent me. So let's have a little look at the quiz, shall we? I'll put you some pretty pictures on while I'm at it. I might do this. Oh, hang on. Bear with me, folks. Can I make that play? I don't know. Well, we'll see. Right, here we go, folks. I've got the quiz. At least I hope I have, anyway. I'm going to have to keep my eye on the thing here. These questions are straight off this quiz that Frank sent me. So let's see how we do on this, shall we, folks? Bye, Hazel. What's a Bortle? Well, Bortle must be the name of the person that came up with the scale. Frank Bortle, was it? Chris said he's in a Bortle 4. Yeah, that's pretty good. I don't really know what Blackpool is, but I'd say it was something like a 6. Yeah, somewhere in the middle. We're not like a really heavily well, we are because we've got the illuminations, but we're not quite as bad as being in the middle of a city, you know, or being in the middle of Birmingham or Manchester. It wouldn't be quite as bad as that. We do have some. We are on the end of a peninsula. If we were to go to the edge of town, it would be a whole lot better. Right, here we go, folks. I've got the quiz. Are you ready for number 1? Okay, quiz. Question number 1. What is the only star in our solar system? Bye, George. What's the only star in our solar system? LA is Bortle 100. I was talking to a guy and he was a member of Los Angeles Astronomical Society, and we were up Mount Wilson, and he had this big telescope. It was a Dobsonian telescope, and he said, that's the beast over there. And I said, what's the beast? And he said, the light pollution. It was just a big glow, a big massive glow all around the place. We were at the top of a mountain and we couldn't see anything. Oh, the San Gabriels looked amazing from up there though. The San Gabriel Mountains. Oh, it's absolutely amazing. So everyone's saying the sun, is that right? Yeah, sun. Mike was the first. Mike Foylan was the first to say the sun. So well done to Mike. It is the only star in our solar system. And what type of star is the sun? Can anyone tell me what type of star is the sun? There's a few different types of stars, and the sun is a certain type of star. What type of star is it? Can anyone tell me what type of star the sun is? What's the only star in the galaxy? There are 2, the sun and you, mate. Thanks, Tim Whistle. You got it right as well, the sun. Sorry, the screen goes black at times, but for some reason it shows a picture and then it goes black, so you'll just have to I'll tell you what, let's put me on again. Someone's saying very hot, someone's saying G. Which sun do you speak of? So I don't think anyone's got the answer to this one. Some people, I think when you say type G, which it is a type G, but that's probably a little bit more. Well, strictly speaking, I think the sun is a type G star, but it's also a yellow dwarf, of which I think most stars are yellow dwarfs. So the sun is actually a yellow dwarf. So that's the answer I was looking for. Thanks very much, Sarah. Thanks to Sarah for the super chat there. Dr. Houseland says XR3 injection. I saw her through XR3 injections today because I was at the Ford car show today in Blackpool. Hey, loads of cars, loads of Ford cars. We had, you should have seen it. Wait for my video tomorrow on the other channel, yeah, you'll see it. We've got a few people saying red dwarf. Peter says yellow dwarf. Jay says red dwarf. If it was a red dwarf, we'd have to be a lot closer to it, otherwise we wouldn't survive because there wouldn't be enough heat coming from it. Because a red dwarf is one of the smallest stars, the least hot stars you can get. So what happens in the sun's centre? The thermonuclear reactions convert what on the sun? Do they convert nitrogen to helium, helium to hydrogen, helium to nitrogen, or hydrogen to helium? So what happens on the sun? What's it converting? Is it converting nitrogen to helium, helium to hydrogen, helium to nitrogen, or hydrogen to helium? It's quite a deep question, this actually. Hi Peter Smith. Peter Smith's here. Peter Smith said red dwarf, but we're actually looking for yellow dwarf. Hydrogen to helium, yeah, that's right, because the sun is pretty much 75%. Is it 75% hydrogen? And it's converting hydrogen into helium. Yep, that's right, Greg. Mike got it. I think Mike was the first one to get it again. Well done to Mike. That's quite a deep one, that one. How long has the sun existed in its present state? In years. Are we looking at 1 billion years, 2 billion years, 4 billion years, or 8 billion years? So it's quite a long time, whichever way you look at it. But how long has the sun existed in its present state? 1, 2, 4, or 8 billion years? Yeah, hydrogen to helium, says Chris. Hey Chris, I see you've got a Saturn emoji there. Notice that the rings of Saturn are getting closer together. I'm going to have to try to take some pictures of it. The rings are closing. Moira Dyson says hydrogen to helium, yeah. Mike says 5 billion. That wasn't one of the answers, but it's close enough. Peter's first. Well done to Peter. Peter got it first with 4 billion years. It's existed like it has. And they reckon it's going to last for about another 4 billion years before it starts to go on its way back out again. Now, this is one that I had to look up. What's the weight of the sun compared to the Earth? Is it 111 times more than the Earth? 222,000 times more than the Earth? 330,000 times more than the Earth? Or 555,000 times the weight of the Earth? Which one of those? What is the weight of the sun? 111,000, 222,000, 333,000, or 555,000 times the weight of the Earth? Which one of those? You know, I had to look this one up. I really did have to look it up, but I had an idea. I did get the right answer, but I did have to check it though. Sharon says 330. Mike says 550. Bitcoin Wolf Love says 555. Yeah, my gut instinct was to go with the big one. And it was right. It is 555,000 times the weight of the Earth. So there you go. That's it, folks. The answer was 555,000 times. So, okay, here we go with another one. This is question number 6. The Sun alone accounts for for how much of the mass, the total mass of the solar system? Is it 25.8%, 45.8%, 77.8% or 99.8%? Which amount does the Sun make up for in the solar system? 25%, 25.8, 45.8, 77.8 or 99.8? I quite like Saturn's rings when they're edge on or something different. Yeah, well, they're definitely getting closer. It's all to do with the way it orbits and the way that we're looking at it. Cat's rule, yeah, you got 2 in a row. Mike says 90%. It's got down here 99.8%. 99.8% of the whole solar system is inside the Sun. The mass of the solar system. There's only 0.2%. Jupiter, Saturn, all those planets, all the asteroids, everything, they only make up 0.2%. Can you believe that? That's amazing, isn't it? So, I think Mike was first. And then Leon. Rick got it. A few others got it. Okay, we're now up to question number 7. What's the diameter of the Sun compared to Earth? Is it 59 times, 89 times, 109 or 219 times the diameter of the Earth? I am losing my voice, folks. Let's look at some pretty pictures. Hi to Michael Hornby. So what's the diameter of the Sun compared to Earth? Is it 59, 89, 109 or 219 times? Another one right. Sound the trumpet, says Cat's Rule. Richard says 219. Bitcoin says 219. Rick 219. Cat's Rule 219. Gary, everyone's saying 2. And you know, this is another one that I had to look up, and I was right to say 219 because it is 219 times the size. 219 times the size. There you go. I had to look that one up. By the way, if any of these questions are wrong, don't blame me. I've got them off Frank. So blame Frank. Right, here's another one. How many planet Earths can fit inside the Sun? Is it 0.3 million, 1.3 million, 3.3 million or 6.3 million? How many Earths can fit inside the Sun? 300,000, 1.3 million, 3.3 million or 6.3 million? Can you tell me how many Earths can fit inside the Sun? So how many Earths can be fit inside the Sun? What are people saying? Yeah, 219 times. It's amazing, isn't it? Yeah. This is another one that I wasn't quite sure about, so I had to kind of look it up. What are people saying? Bitcoin says 6.3. I think we're on question number 8 now, aren't we? Yeah. Sharon Morris says 3.3. Yeah, it's a bit of a difficult one, this one, but it's actually 1.3 million. Yeah, it's 1.3 million. So you can fit 1.3 million Earths inside the Sun. Can you believe that? Amazing. 1.3 million Earths inside the Sun. Wowzers. That's pretty big, isn't it? Right, okay, so that was question number 8. We're now on to... Oh, you know, there's a question here. Well, I'll ask the question anyway, but it should be fairly easy to get this question. The majority of gas on the Sun is what? Oxygen, hydrogen, nitrogen or helium? Where's the edge of the sun? So how do they know? I think you're looking for the photosphere, Jay. There's like a photosphere. There's like a photosphere, which is like the visible edge of the sun. If you're ever taking pictures of the sun, you'll see it's just like a disc, you know, just like most other things, like planets and that. And it's the very edge of the photosphere. It does have an atmosphere, of course. So this was a fairly easy question, this one. Frank says the sun is 109 times the diameter of the sun. I must be reading the answers wrong, Frank. It's Frank that sent me the questions. I must have read the answer wrong on that one. Frank said it was 109 times. So that answer, that last one, where I said 219 times, I think that might have been wrong. So we'll have to look that one off. I'd have to double check on that one. I might have just got the wrong answer on that one. But anyway, the majority of the gas on the sun is hydrogen. Now, I did mention that before. Hydrogen, it does actually make up for most of the 75% or something like that of the gas on the sun. So that's hydrogen. Now, I'm just going to, let's just try and keep this interesting by putting some pictures on. As we look at Comet, is that Comet Neowise? It is, isn't it? Yeah, Comet Neowise over. The sun, after completing its red giant phase, will collapse. It will then be known as a what? An orange dwarf, a dark dwarf, a black dwarf, or a white dwarf. So this is after the sun has completed its phase, its life, it's gone through its life. It will collapse and it will be known as an orange dwarf, a dark dwarf, a black dwarf, or a white dwarf. Cats is on fire. So we've got a few people coming in now. Yeah. So it's actually going to be, it's going to turn into a white dwarf. So when the sun finishes its life cycle, it will expand into a red giant as it burns off the hydrogen. When it loses all its hydrogen, it'll start to burn helium, and it'll then start to go through all this kind of procedure of burning shells, and it'll just expand and puff out and puff out, and all that will be left is a white dwarf, which is a very, very small, it's like a smaller but very, very dense. So that's what's going to happen to the sun, folks. When the sun finishes its life cycle, it will finish up as a white dwarf, which is a very, very dense, much more dense, very, very compact white dwarf. So if you said white dwarf, you're right. There you go. Mike was the first one, so well done to Mike. Did Catsrill get it? Hey, Catsrill got it. Chris got it. One of the 7 dwarfs, says Leon. Yeah, it's an orange dwarf at the moment. Yeah, it is an orange. It certainly is an orangey looking thing anyway, or yellow, or whatever. So there you go. That's it, folks. I'm starting to lose my voice now, so I'm going to have to go, but we got through it in the end. We kind of got through it. I had a few problems. I forgot to turn the mic on at the start. Thanks to Frank in Blackpool for the questions. Thanks for everyone for joining in. Keep looking for Nishimura. Have a look for it. Like I said, I haven't really been following it. I think it's going around the sun at the moment, so there's no chance of seeing Nishimura at least for the next week or so. Maybe when it comes round the other side, we might get a chance to start to see it again. Not promising anything, but then again, it could also just completely disintegrate. It could do a Comet Isom, and it could just get completely wiped out by the sun. The same thing happened to Comet Isom. So we will have to wait and see on that, folks. But I'm going to love you and leave you now. Thanks to everyone for joining in, and I will be back next week. I didn't do a video last week, I'm afraid. I was going to do a video about the comet, but it just got a little bit too, to be honest, because I hadn't seen the comet, and I thought, I don't know. I just don't think that we're going to be able to see it, at least not at the moment, so I didn't bother doing a video. But I'd still have lots of videos from Cornwall to put up, so when I get time, I'll edit those videos and put them up, because they're actually pretty good videos, so look out for those. I'll get those done sometime. I'm not sure when, but I'll get them done. So anyway, thanks for joining us, everyone. That's the end of this live stream. I'll hopefully see you again next week. You never know, we might be out again. Couldn't go out tonight because it's just the weather's just no good. So there you go. Don't forget to keep looking up. Have a little look for the comet. Look out for Jupiter. Yeah, Jupiter and Saturn are out there. You can have a look for those if you get a chance. And anyway, I'm going to turn this off now, and I will see you on the next live stream. Let's just say a few bye-byes. Bye-bye to Cat's Rube. Bye-bye to Jay, Steve Aker, Audio Copy, Garen, Leon, Chris, Paul Drakefield. It was a tough one, wasn't it? Yeah. Peter, Sarah, Michael Hornby. Thanks to everyone for joining in. To Wayne, to the mods, of course. The mods, thanks very much to the mods. Keeping the chat in order. I will see you again, hopefully, next Sunday. So let's see if I can press the right